Well, what happened with Ben Penny, he said, you've got a personality, do you? He said, can you do comedy? I said, I've never done it before, but I'll manage it. So, he said, I heard you talking to something, you laugh about something. I'd say something, say, hello, Lenny, you know. So, and they make it even more incongruous. I was called Rocky, and I spoke like that. It was totally incongruous. And we developed that together in his mother's room again. And we'd done the clubs, 15 years we'd done the clubs, Dewey and I. 15 years. And we done very well. We played from Fishguard to Slough. And they were exceptional. And I thought, if there was a band locally who was going to be successful, they would be it. They used to do a lot of four-scene stuff. And ironically enough, because Lynn is about 6 years younger than me, no way money, when I was with this group from Merthyr Tydfil, the Falcons, we were booked in Beaufort Ballroom on Saturday night. Right there, setting up. And Lynn arrived then with the Bystanders, because they were also there. There was two bands booked that night, you know. That's how it was, you know. And they were, I saw them then, they were exceptional. And ironically, when I went to Manchester working for about a year, there's a club there called the Princess Club in Chorlton Carmarthen. And they'd have all the acts that were once big aces, but now are on the wane and gone down to clubs. They'd have them there. Really Fury, people like this. And I saw the Bystanders there, I was going to see them. And I went to see the lads. And they come back to the hotel, they don't like where they were staying. So I went back to the hotel and I'm drinking and everyone was working, all of us. So I spent a bit of time with them there then. But I was always one of them. These ones were a bit of fun. Big venues then for music were the Miners' Hall, which is now defunct. This is a facade left, isn't it? There. Kirkhouse, or Georgetown. There was the Catholic Hall in DOWLAIS. St David's Hall, which is up on that street there, Church Street, on the left. Church Street, the St David's Hall, they were the main venues. The Palace Cinema developed the same. And ironically then, the bands, the popular bands, I would say the most successful bands in Merthyr then, were the Pete Livingston Tremolos, who really sang with. Really. Well, they were the leading band in the area, without a doubt. There was other bands, that were like the Dynatones, leading up a band, all in that band they played regularly. Because I recall Keith coming on to me at one time. He said he thought it wasn't so good. He said, would you do me a favour? Would you sing with the band for a couple of weeks? And they thought rest. So I went down there and sang with them for a couple of weeks. And I remember the 1 week I went down there, some girl came to chat, they were chatting it up. They always go for the singer, don't they? And it was a guy from Aberkennan come after me. And I said, well, you know, it's good. Anyway, they were, if you see her next week, if you're down here next week, sort you out now. So I went down there for a week and I took a mob with me. So they all done a runner then, as it so happened. And what happened, I went to Butlins. There was a singing contest on there. I must have been about 1963, something like that. Just before the Beatles come on the scene. And there was a singing contest there, anybody would enter. And ironically, the band was called RORY Blackwell, the Blackjacks. And the keyboard player with them was a guy called Clyde Powell, who became Georgie Fame. So I sang Teenage in Love. I always remember it. And you had the various heats. Then you had the finals coming the weekend. I remember going bump with Georgie Fame or Clyde Powell as he was then, and say, look, is it acceptable to sing the same song in the final? I don't see why not, Tap, he said. I said, okay. He said, what would you sang Teenage Love? Yeah, good too, he said. Sing the same song, you'll be no problem. And I just so happened, me and another guy died. And we were both singing Teenage Love. Both died.
So, yeah.
And the sort of song, melody, word, it seemed to me, I never had great range. I never had great vocal range. I had a pleasing voice, average guitar player, but plenty of personality there. And a guy come on to me then, after that, a fellow called John Edwards from ELLIS. What band do you sing with, Brian? I said, I'm not singing with anyone at the moment. He said, look, we're looking for a singer with our band. Yeah. He said, look, give me your address. We didn't have phones then. I'll write you. You can meet the boys. As it turned out, they were called the Falcons from ELLIS. And I went over and we rehearsed then in the Castle Hotel in Tredegar. And John was a fabulous keyboard player. Hell of a boy he was. And we were together for about a year. They carried on. But I fell out because I don't know what it was. I was travelling over there. We went everywhere. To Gloucester a lot. John then got religion. So I understand, because John was a wicked devil. But he got religion and now he's the same church as Ray. When I come back home then, and I was one of these, it was all a bit of fun. I went to Butlins and I met up with somebody. I entered a singing contest anyway, but we just drifted in different reasons. And Dewey, Ron stayed together. Peter Jones, who was with us then playing guitar, lead guitar, he was with them. And they formed what they call the Westerners. Yeah. And they persuaded Terry to come and join to sing. But they called themselves then Edwards and the Arcadians. They started off with Terry Edwards, what of a singer. And they then continued to ultimately became the Westerners over the years. But Terry, great singer, and he split with them and went up to London. And Ron took over the vocals. And I got an LP of them and a CD of them. And I thought myself, no, it's not something I won't buy or I want to listen to frequently. It's pleasant voice, but not really personality.
Very different to Skiffle.
Yeah, and
I would imagine the music.
And no charisma come along, really. And that's how we split. There was a Goals You Please talent contest in the Theatre Royal, which is still standing up on top of town, but it's now like derelict. Well, there's a Goals You Please talent contest there. So one Skiffle, there was all sorts, all artists, singers, comedians, a lot. It must, if I recall it well, it's about a dozen acts. There's a good comedian there, Whit Monday, now dead. I enjoyed him. Anyway, we went up there and we sang. I can't recall what we sang. I think it's probably Putting on the Style. Anyway, there's a trio there called the Cutaway Trio. Very good harmony trio they were. And I thought, they're good. I thought they'd be in the top couple. They've been around clubs, they've been up north as well, they had. Anyway, the young lad from Bargoy called Terry Edwards, singing solo with guitar, singing Rosemary, it's an Mickman song, yodeling. And he was very exceptional, Anyway, as it turned out, Terry won it, I believe. Did we use or Terry? I think we were second or first. I can't recall it if we were first or second.
Sure.
It's a long time ago. But Terry was with us as well. And this Cutaway Trio were third. And the one guy with them was a bit miffed about it. But they decided that was the way it was. Well, shortly after that, we drifted apart. This must be 62, 63. Right. When Slim Whitman came out with Rosemary, he was that year. In that picture, we played in the Hoover factory. And they had a dance and a nice Stedford going on there. And we went there. I can't recall who else was playing, but we won the competition anyway. And at that time, there's a newspaper called the Herald of Wales, published in Mid Wales, I believe. and the journalist come along, a photographer, said, "Can I take a photo of you for the paper?" And he took us opposite Hoover's. There's a Kaiser Bonda factory, made ladies' fashions, you know, underwear and that. And that's when we sat outside the office windows of the Kaiser Bonda factory in Bedford Park, which is now is defunct for many years. That's where that was taken. Abbott to site, Workman's. I think we played, if I recall, the Labour Club, maybe, Merthyr. We played in Caerphilly, a club in Caerphilly, and I always remember a pub in Caerphilly, the Great Western, I think it is. I think it's still there now. And we were asked to play there. And we went there. And that week they were opening in the cinema Tommy Steele story that he just arrived on the scene, which must be 61, something like 60. Anyway, so they had a big cardboard cutout of Tommy Steele where we got to play. Now, of course, at that time, 19, 20, I had a resemblance to Tommy Steele, so everyone said I look like Tommy Steele. A lot of them said, you know, they call me Tommy. Hi, Tommy, and the other. So when we got there, now they wanted to promote me as Tommy Steele's brother. Now, Tommy Steele was Tommy Hicks, so I was known as Colin Hicks, as a brother. See, big surprise when Ladies and Gentlemen, we have the brother and the brother, and it went on. So on it goes. And it goes, at the end now, I'm signing autographs as well, as Colin Hicks. Because I was doing a few songs myself at that time. Anyway, I'll go forward now from that. About 2 years, 3 years, I just finished my apprenticeship in engineering in Blackwood, South Wales Switchgear. And I had all had apprentices working for me, you know, the people, the engineers, and the apprentice then got a bonus. And sometimes we were there, the apprentice would give it a go. Well, I had a guy called Eddie from T. Thomas, outside Caerphilly. Eddie Thomas. Good boy, big lump he was. Anyway, if I had a day off, you wouldn't tell about I was off, you just get on with the work. Right? So when I come back, I am in front now, aren't I? Anyway, one day we were chatting. I said, "Did you go to Caerphilly much, Eddie?" He said where he went. I said, I was down there playing about 3 years ago. He said, "Where?" I said, "In the Great Western Hotel, I believe it is." He said, well, I said, "When Tommy Steele film was there, I was there then." I said, as a matter of fact, I told the story about signing autographs. He said, "I got your autograph." He said, "My brother was there and he had the autograph." And the one photo I've got at home, I was looking at two of them actually. We had a friend who was managing Briggs' store. Now, Briggs was a menswear store, and they had a throughout South Wales, Aberdeen, Merthyr, Rimbaud, they had them, you know, through the chain. So John was the managing the one in Rimbaud, John Williams, and he was only 21 then, John, and he's the youngest manager of this Briggs' company. And he had a Christmas function coming on, so he said, "Will you boys play for the function upstairs?" And we always went over there and played. I'm not sure if it was up in the warehouse or something in the store itself, but it was somewhere near the Briggs' store. I suspect it was upstairs, Briggs' shop, and you go upstairs there, have a big room, whatever, where up there, I think, where they rigged up a stage. Dancers there, and I got 2 photographs of that from there with the drummer. That would then be about 1950, I would say 59. But what happened, we didn't go to the next move in the skiffle because there was a bit of a dispute in the group with Di Francis dropping out, so we didn't have the band as we wanted it. So we withdrew from going up towards London for that finals. So we moved on from that with the drummer, and I saw him recently actually. We played in this Briggs' do over there, and we played various clubs in the South Valleys then.
When I joined the Tremolos, as they were Pete Lovett, I learned we did Living Doll, Please Don't Touch, and something else. But I like Please Don't Touch. Don't touch me, baby, because I love you so much. You know,
oh yeah,
Johnny Kidd and the Pirates. And they said, "No, we got a new singer. I'd like to introduce you, Little Walter." And he said he'd like to sing now, and they went Living Doll, and the bass went bump a dump, and I went, "Please don't touch." Dump a dump a dump. He must have done about 5 times. Dump a dump a dump. I had to break into it then. Got myself a crying talk. But I still sing when I have a chance in it. Most of the old groups and in old Merthyr Tydfil site, like Pete Lovett, the Spiders they were all dressed the same. And we did something before the Beatles. You know, the leather fronted pullovers, we had those in 1961. We never took a photograph of them. You don't think that day, if only we'd kept the poster said Little Walter and the Four Squares plus Tommy Scott and the Senators.
It is.
Now, Owen Money says it says the Bystanders plus. And it was not. It was that day it was. That's down in. We went down in the afternoon in Abercynon. There was they had a dance in the afternoon in a huge tent. You know, it was like a carnival thing, and we were playing there. And a dance then in the Emp, I think it is called, in Abercynon, that's the Emp. But Owen Money, well, he said it on, I heard him say it on his programme on a Saturday morning. Well, he's married to my first cousin. And he'd even mentioned it, I remember once on, good few years ago, fella I was in school with, got in touch with him because he could ring him then and everything. He used to have quizzes in it, and you could have a prize. You don't now. Asked him, "Do you know where Little Walter is now?" And he was about to play a number, play a record, and he said, "As soon as record, I got a story to tell you." And he said, "I know Little Walter, everybody knows him." Well, I went from school. I first met him because he passed the grammar school at County me, and then he went to the Quakers Yard as a technical school. But he said, "I'm actually married to Walter's cousin," he said, and I took over from him in the Bystanders. But I never was in the Bystanders. We broke up, and then they formed because it was Mickey and Jaffa, the drummer, and Mickey. You had Paul John, who was, I don't know, I think he was with the Desperados or the Cheating Hearts or something like that, and he was a keyboard, he was a musician anyway. Then they had Raymond Williams from the Dynatones, and not Ray Swansea with a bad leg, and their singer joined them because I finished, of course, and all, you know, the women getting away to it. And Keith Sussex, his name, but he always go Carl Dawson and the Dynatones, because they were the first group. They used to play, I'm not sure if they played in the Palace, but they used to play in a pub in the bottom of Kevin. It is. You only go over the bridge to go into Kevin. Right opposite is a house now, private house, but it's still there. The Gwyn's Arms there was cracking night. And we had a dance at one time down below Bridgend, Thomastown it was called. Well, it's just out, it's a suburb of Bridgend. And we play in the Palace on a Wednesday. I know it doesn't sound much, but we had a concert party, as they would call then, and we charged 16 guineas. You know, it doesn't sound much now, 16 guineas, only £16.80 now. Mm-hmm. But the dearest show you'd get around here was £17. That's only 4 shillings more. And we'd have, in that show then, there'd be the 5 of us. Mm-hmm. We'd have this Georgie, Georgie, oh, I can't think of his name now. There was one fella, he was a Bing Crosby, I don't know whether you heard of him, from Georgetown, Benny Murphy, and he did Bing Crosby really good. You know, the battered Trilby, do more of that. To me, a lot said he getting to look like him, you know, he's done it so much. Because him, we had a soprano, and we had a woman comedian, and they used to call her Merthyr Tydfil, Sophie Tucker, because she did those sort of songs like Sophie Tucker. What was her name? Gladys Thomas, I think it was. I got some zoning pictures I can find.
Yeah?
Yeah. That now, that's Mickey, that's me, and that's Cliff, and that's Mickey's girlfriend Carr. He was a brilliant musician. And that's a group I joined after, Eberville group called the Rockefellers, and that's what I was known for. It's not a very good picture, but you can read underneath.
Twist concert, Mr. Walter Williams.
And Miss G. McGovern. Well, that used to be part, you know, now today, when you see a show in a club, you're lucky if you see 2 spots. Well, we used to do something like 4 spots, 3 at least. And the 1 spot was the twist. Because I was Merthyr champion, and we never took a photograph, funny enough. We had black suits, bolero jacket, short, and no lapels, high waist on the trousers, cuffs with pearl buttons, and that Carl, the one girl there, and this one here, and my cousin who later married the bass player, he was taking a photograph. That's why you can't see him. We bought them dresses, and they had white shimmy dresses, and I'd be twisting, they'd be either side of me twisting. Just go down a bomb. We did all the Rhondda, every club in the Rhondda. We did it in Merthyr, but funnily enough, everybody who was around at the time will tell you, they didn't do a lot of bookings in Merthyr, because for some reason Merthyr thought, oh, they're not good enough. You go elsewhere, they couldn't get enough of us. The T Newydd club, as it was, the top of the Rhondda. We opened that, and they wanted us back within about 6 months. But we'd be on from 8 o'clock until 9. They'd have half-hour bingo, and they'd be 9:30 then, till non-stop. And the reason they called me Little Walter, that was Big Walter, my father. He's dressed like that. He was 50 years ago now, just before the Aberfan disaster. He was a fitter by trade, but he went out to Abu Dhabi because the one brother who served the other, and he was putting the money back into the land. Instead of putting it in his back pocket, he was building road and everything, and they were subcontracted to an American firm.
We were booked to play with the Beatles in Abergavenny Town Hall, and this was when Love Me Do came out, and you know, our booking was for the future, a couple of months ahead or whatever. And in the meantime, Please Please Me went to number 1. I think that was the second. And whereas they'd agreed a fee of £100 to play in Abergavenny, with the success of this going to number 1, they'd gone back to the Abergavenny people and said, look, his fee's gone up to £300. And Abergavenny couldn't pay that or whatever, so we lost out on the chance of playing with. But they came back later, whether there was you know, a bit of guilt there or I don't know, something over trying to increase the fee or not, and they came back. We changed to Rhythm and Blues Quintet. I think back to the crescendos, because when Paul Owen, Bowie, joined us as vocalist, he suggested we become Crescendo's UA. Now UA was short for Undesirable Aliens. So that was, we were known, when we were in the Tower Ballroom in Swansea, these top bands, we were Crescendo's UA. At the time of the audition for Hamburg, I'm not sure. You know, also with that band, we went to London, made a demo in a recording studio in Putney, and I had, they only sent us one disc then. I mean, a simple 4-track recording thing, you know. And I had it for a while, and I must have given it to one of the other band members. Might have been Ray, I don't know. But I never had it back or whatever. I don't know where that is. It's lost as far as I know. That night then, you know Dewey Peters? Dewey used to drive us around everywhere. He had a van, Bedford van or something. So he used to take us to all our gigs. Lovely, lovely chap, Dewey. So I was speaking to Peter Jones the other day, who was a guitarist with the Westerner, and he was saying Dewey's still around, yeah. And so Dewey took us up to London for the demo disc. That night we went to the Flamingo Club in Wardour Street, and the Groundhogs were playing, I remember, because I'd never heard anybody play slide guitar before. And Tony McPhee playing a bit of slide guitar. So we came back from that and sort of got into the blues a little bit then. And Eddie, Robert Edwards and I, who were good friends, and two other lads that used to follow us around, Tony Wood and Stuart Bush. So what we started doing was we'd finish work, or in Eddie K's school on a Friday evening, hitchhike to London. And this was before the M4, but it was quite easy. We'd split into two tours. It was quite easy to get lifts up there, and say we'd get up to Soho around midnight perhaps, but the Flamingo Club used to be open till about 5 in the morning, so we'd be in there then all night. I mean, I heard John Mayall's Blues Breakers there, Graham Bond Organisation again, Georgie Fame, Chris Farlow, the Thunderbirds, and who Albert Lee was guitarist with, and he was quite useful. So we'd come out of the Flamingo Club about 5 in the morning, get on the Circle Line, go round, have a kip, because we couldn't afford hotels, or back in then for the Saturday night, and hitch home, and then on Sunday morning.
Yeah, I can remember, you know, as a young lad, I was about 14, I suppose, something like that, and I'd made my mind up that I was going to be a guitarist. I was going to make my living from playing music. And there used to be a tip in Merthyr called the Whitey. It's been dismantled now, but it was all the tippings from the old Carr Steel Works. The thing used to smoke at night, and we called it the Whitey because, you know, 200 years ago or whatever, the thing was illuminated in the night sky. You know, it was like red hot, if not white hot. It was because it was all the tippings. But by the time I was in school, it had cooled down, and I used to mitch off school, and I used to take in my satchel, rather than go to school, Beatles books. And I used to walk up the Whitey because I thought nobody would see me up there. And I used to transpose Beatles songs from the music books that I had. And I spent a good couple of weeks doing just this in the summer, you see. Until a letter arrived from the school saying, "Where's your son, Mrs. Shell?" Did I get a walloping or what? And it just so happened that that night was going to be the very first gig I'd ever done. Now, the first gig was in the Mormon church. I'm not a Mormon, but I was going to be part of the band. They had a pantomime, or they had something going on there, and I was the guitarist in the band. And my parents said, "That's it, you're not going?" I said, "I gotta go, man." I said, "I'll be letting the boys down. All those people are going to be watching, the pantomime or whatever it was, the theatre production. I gotta go." "You're not going." But at about 5 to 8 in the evening, she relented, and my father took me down there. And I'll always remember this. We did the first set, and Graham, the drummer, and myself, we walked out to Georgetown to get a bag of chips. And as we were coming out of the chip shop, me with a bottle of pop, bag of chips, Graham with his bag of chips, we crossed the road, and there was a gang from Georgetown there. "What are you looking at?" Tried to ignore them, but one of them come across and hit Graham the drummer in the mouth. I could see tooth flying in the air. I thought, oh my God. He came across to me, went to hit me, and I thought, well, it's him or me, and I had a bottle of Corona Pop, so I hit him with that. He went down like a sack of spanners, and Graham and myself, we both run off back to the relative safety of the Mormon church. I did the second spot. So that was a big event in my day.
Yeah.
Being found out for mitching, and my very first gig as well. Well, I left school when I was 16.
Yeah.
Now the idea being is that I left in the summertime, I'd have the summer holidays, then to enjoy myself, and then I'd look for a job. Unfortunately, I finished school on the Friday and started work on the following Monday, so I missed out completely. I was playing in a band. I was playing locally in a group called Chapter 5, and I was headhunted by a group from Cardiff, end of the world, huge city. I'd heard of it. I'd been there once with my parents, and that was about it really. And there was a knock on my front door one day. I wasn't there, and a gentleman got out of his MGB GT, all suited, and said, "I'm a drummer in a group from Cardiff," he said, "and I understand your son plays guitar." "Oh yes, love," she said, my mum. "Yes, he does, yeah. Well, we'd like to offer him a job in a group." So my mum said, "Oh, he's got a good job. He's working in Ferguson's, the fruit importers, £5 a week. Can you better that?" And he said, "Yeah, I can offer him £40 a week." My mother said, "I'll get him to ring you tomorrow." Well, it was easy that, but I had to do both jobs, in as much as that the residency finished at 2 o'clock in the morning, started at 9, finished at 2, and I didn't drive. So my poor dad, he was delegated as driver, you see, so I'd get home about 2:45, then I'd have to be up at 6:30 to start work in Ferguson's, the fruiterers, at 7:30 in the morning. So I was absolutely shattered every day, you can imagine, can't you? And then sometimes, although it was a 6-day residency, they'd have a Sunday off. But then they decide sometimes to play an external gig, Merthyr Tydfil Club or Bryn Mawr Cons or whatever on a Sunday. So I was working 7 days a week. And to be honest with you, I couldn't cope with it. So even my parents, bless them, they said, well, give up your day job. I was earning 8 times more playing my guitar than I was in the day job. Yeah. But I stuck it for 12 months, so I give it a good go. Yeah. But then with a couple of Merthyr boys, I formed a band as well. So we were just rehearsing at that stage because I couldn't devote huge amounts of time to it.
And what band was that?
What were we called? I don't think we even had a name, but I was still rehearsing. So as well as rehearsing, playing my guitar, a couple of hours a day with them, I'd also be rehearsing in Cardiff before we started the gig. Plus we were playing 4 hours a night, so I was constantly on my guitar. You know, it never stopped. It was in my hand 8, 10 hours, 12 hours a day. And we were fortunate that the club that we were playing in Cardiff, called Tito's, it was a casino, it was a cabaret club, and it was a discotheque. And we played the songs of the day in the discotheque. So anything that was popular we had to come and play for dancing. Whereas upstairs, you'd have the cabaret clubbers, you'd have all the big names of the day, people like Engelbert Humperdinck, the Searchers, the Tremolos. And what we would do, we would sneak upstairs during the daytime and watch them rehearse. And I would say 99% of all the professional people there used to treat it as a job, in as much as they'd come in the afternoon, they themselves would rehearse before the performance. So we wanted to treat it as a full-time job as well. So hence, all the rehearsals that we had. And it stood us in good stead, really. But while we were there, we managed to get, not a contract, but some good contacts. And we used those contacts for when the residency finished to try and further our group then. And we managed to get a recording contract with George Martin's company, George Martin, Beatles fame, obviously.
Was that Sassafras then, was it, or was that before?
Yeah, we called it Sassafras, which was an amalgam of two groups, in actual fact, and both were resident bands. One from the Checkmate, that used to be in Caerphilly, and one from the remnants of the band that was in Tito's nightclub in Cardiff.
Okay.
So we started writing original material. I'd actually built a small demo studio in Canton in Cardiff by that time. So we had all the evenings, or if it wasn't booked out, we'd go in there, we'd rehearse, we'd record, and we managed to get a recording contract with George Martin's company. And that was the first LP called Expecting Company.
Yeah.
Dewey was the creator of the Westerners, Dewey Peters, right? He lives in Tynrodden. And we done quite well, but mostly we were doing social clubs, miners' clubs and things like that with Dewey. And we'd come over the night and that's it. We have 3 or 4 bookings a week, which is wonderful, really. And we also used to do long dances, Steve, didn't we?
Yeah, we did, yeah.
Yeah, long dances, dun, 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 and all that sort of thing,
Started at 8 o'clock in the evening and finished at 2 o'clock. 6 hours. But go back to the personnel. I think that's what Paul wants to know. The personnel.
Well, it was Billy, right? An incredible guitarist. And there was Peter Jones, good chord player. Very good rhythm guitar, because he used to like dancing anyway, and he used to go dancing with his wife and things, to proper dances, and so therefore he was very good on tempos. And then there was a Dewey who used to give us the funny side of life. He used to say funny things on the stage which makes people laugh. And then there was me, then the more serious one, and it was I was singing the songs. And
what about Terry?
And Terry.
Terry Edwards.
Terry Edwards. Mm-hmm. So Terry finished, right? He's a coal miner, he was. He worked in Barwood Pit. Terry fell in love with somebody, didn't he? What was her name now?
I can't remember. It was up in the Big Smoke, wasn't it?
Huh?
It was up in the Big Smoke, wasn't it? London.
All right.
The other side of the world, what London was in that place.
He didn't come. He came up there with us, but he didn't come back with us, did he?
No.
No, he stayed up there with her. And we never seen him for a very long time. And the thing was then, who was going to do the singing? Now, I'd never been doing any singing, only playing the guitar. I liked singing the house, playing the house. So, not to leave it go, we got together and we come up with the Westerners as they were in the end. The crew was the same ones in the end. Maybe Steve, Billy Edwards, Dewey didn't last long. Peter Jones, who used to play the bass, and chords, good chord player, and myself. And we honestly done better than ever, because the amount of work that came in, we were sometimes out 5 times a week,
Did you turn professional then?
No, we never turned professional.
Okay.
Not as the Westerners.
So you just,
not as a Westerner.
You just gigged
Gigs,
and did your job.
We'd be in Nottingham on a Sunday night, and the van would be picking me up after 7 in the morning on Monday morning to go to work. Like this. Because we didn't drink a lot in them days. Thank God we're the roadie. We've never gone home.
Tell me a bit about where you played and stuff then. Obviously it wasn't just local, it was everywhere.
Yeah. Oxford was a lot from the Oxford area.
Oh, yeah.
Banbury and
they were quite country orientated up there, weren't they? Southampton as well.
Yeah, Southampton.
Southampton, that was another good place.
London. We
London.
did a circuit in London one time.
Yeah,
well, the American camps as well.
Yeah,
they're all RAF, Middleton and stuff like that, but the Americans were sort of controlling it, and we'd go there.
Fabulous nights, weren't they? Fabulous nights. And because it was their music for a start, and for steel guitar players, Billy was untouchable.
Yeah.
And only a lap steel, where a lot of bands got the pedal steel. You've got pedals on it, and rods. They're the true steel guitar players then, But Billy, by trade in a way, was an Hawaiian player, first class. And he was like a greyhound follower, wasn't he? You get whatever you played, Billy was with it, boy. Never, hardly ever heard a bum note. It was incredible. And, that's like everything else. Things come to an end, family-wise and things, and happy wives, and it's part of that life.
All the other bands that we came up with were, a singer, guitarist, bass player, drummer, pedal steel guitar. And then we come along. Ronnie was more of a picker than the chord player, or he played the chords and he picked at the same time. Peter used to bar a lot because we didn't have a bass player, and then there was me, and then there's Edwards on his steel guitar, his lap guitar. He
used to put his guitar on full bass, didn't he?
Yeah, and he used to bar a lot.
And he had a pretty good, tough amplifier to take it. And Peter was the bass line. He was keeping out time, spot on. Billy was a soloist and I was a singer. I'd do a few little notes on my guitar in between it.
But playing acoustic?
No, I used to have an electric one.
Right.
Because the thing is, it's alright to have acoustic if you're sitting into a listening audience. It's wonderful.
Yeah,
but when you play into a massive big hall full of dancers, right, it's a waste of time. If I turned it up, she'd backfeed. So I couldn't have that. Peter's skiffle group it was at the time.
Yeah.
Skiffle was in its prime at that time, and Davy was the boss, the leader, and I was roped in as one of the guitar players. And I'd done quite a lot of work with Davy, and a hell of a nice chap, Davy is. And but my love wasn't the skiffle. It was the country music. Owing to the fact, my father worked underground 52 years on it, and his love was westerns. And every Saturday morning, Sunday morning, they used to have a special hour in the Temperance Hall or something, and they'd always put a cowboy film on, black and white. Dad wouldn't miss that for anything. Yeah? So he used to take me along, and I used to love it as well. And I remember him taking me to the arcade and buying me a toy gun, Western gun, and a little holster, and a cowboy hat. I think I was in that outfit more than anything at all. In the street, they used to start to call me Ronnie Cowboy, and it stuck for quite a while. And till different people come in the street, and the old ones passed on, and that subsided. And I ended up playing with the Dewey had skiffle group, And in all fairness, it was quite successful for the skiffle group days. Because there was not a lot of feeling in skiffle at all. It was just...
Yeah.
I see the train coming, and that sort of thing, And but that there is a skiffle outfit, because when Dave went, the banjo player, and he went, he stayed with us for a while, and then he went into the rock section. Dewey went into comedy, and Ron went into country music full stop.
Yeah.
That was my love. I enjoyed playing with the boys, they were great. But as I said, the old Gene Autry days that my dad used to take me to see, and Roy Rogers, they stuck in my head. And because they were both singing cowboys, see.
Yeah,
and these old films used to take me to see. They'd have the guitar and they'd make a campfire or sitting on the horse.
Singing, home, we're in the buffer.
Yodeling, and all that sort of thing. I was smitten by it. And as I said, Dad would, any western in town, and Dad would take me to see it. There was a lot of yodeling in the films in them days, where they sit around the campfire, and nobody gets hurt, like, nobody gets shot dead or anything. They were films for children, it was, so they kept the bizarre killing, and like you get today, it's very explicit.
Yeah.
Like pouring out of the head blown off, and things like that in the days.